The stars were quiet on the day everything changed. There were no warning signs, no rumors of danger, and no messages from deep space telling anyone to prepare. Life across the galaxy moved as usual. Ships traveled, traders worked, and soldiers guarded borders that had not been touched in years. Nobody expected trouble, and nobody believed fear could ever return to their worlds. Far from every civilized planet, on a small outpost named Rydar 6, a group of alien scouts trained for their daily patrol. They belonged to a species known for strength and courage. Their people had fought many battles and won them all, so they believed fear was something only weaker beings felt. They laughed loudly as they checked their weapons, telling old stories about how nothing in the galaxy could scare them anymore. They were wrong. The first sign appeared in the form of a broken distress beacon drifting through space. One scout ship found it and brought it back, thinking it was nothing important. But when their engineers opened it, they discovered claw marks deep inside the metal, as if some furious creature had tried to tear its way out. Nobody understood what could do such damage. The metal was too strong for natural claws. Some said it was a message. Others said it was a warning. On the other side of the galaxy, a man named Cole Varin prepared for a new mission. He was a human soldier with many years of experience fighting dangerous creatures on wild planets. But he preferred to travel with a partner who was more than just a pet. Her name was Ember. She was a highly trained honey badger, strong, fearless, and smarter than most people expected. Ember had protected Cole many times, and Cole trusted her more than any weapon. While Cole loaded equipment into his ship, Ember sniffed the air and made a low growl. Cole looked down at her, confused. She only made that sound when she sensed danger. "What is it this time?" Cole asked softly. Ember did not answer, of course, but her eyes remained locked on the sky as if she knew something was coming. Cole received his mission details shortly after. A mysterious distress signal had been detected near Rydar 6. Humans were known for responding quickly to strange signals, so the command center asked Cole to investigate. He agreed without hesitation. He enjoyed solving mysteries, and Ember always seemed ready for the next adventure. As the human ship traveled toward the outpost, the aliens of Rydar 6 continued to search for answers. They looked through every piece of the beacon, but still found nothing that made sense. Their commander, Threx, decided to send a scouting team beyond the nearby mountains to investigate the area where the beacon had come from. The team included 6 experienced soldiers who believed fear was an old story from ancient times. They walked with confidence through the rocky terrain, not knowing that something, or someone, was watching them from above. Strange tracks appeared on the ground, deep, wide, and too sharp for any known animal on the planet. One soldier bent down and touched the marks. The ground was torn apart as if a creature had landed with great force. Another soldier found a broken piece of armor with dried black liquid on it. None of them recognized the design. "This is not from any species we know," one soldier whispered. The team suddenly felt a cold wind even though the weather was calm. The silence around them grew heavy, and every small sound echoed like a warning. For the first time, one of the soldiers felt a strange tightening in his chest. He had never felt fear before, but this was close. Back in space, Cole's ship approached Rydar 6. The moment he landed, the alien guards stared at Ember with curiosity. They had never seen such a creature before. To them, she looked small, harmless, and even cute. Some laughed quietly. Cole ignored their reactions. He knew Ember better than anyone. She could fight creatures 10 times her size. She had survived attacks no other living thing could survive. Fear did not exist in Ember's heart. The alien commander Threx met Cole and explained the situation. Cole listened carefully and asked to see the beacon. When he inspected the claw marks, his face became serious. "This is not a normal animal," Cole said. "Something strong did this, something angry." Threx tried to hide his confusion. "We are not afraid," he answered proudly. "We simply want to know what it is." Cole almost smiled. "Then let's find out." They prepared a combined scouting group with both human and alien members. Ember walked beside Cole, her nose twitching as she followed scents left behind by whatever creature had destroyed the beacon. As the team moved deeper into the mountains, Ember stopped suddenly. Her body became tense. Her fur rose. She growled, low and dangerous. Cole raised his hand to stop the others. "What's wrong with the animal?" one alien asked. Cole whispered, "She only reacts like this when something deadly is close." The aliens exchanged looks. For the first time in their lives, their confidence began to weaken. If a small Earth creature sensed danger, maybe it was smarter to be careful. A sound echoed through the valley, a deep roar not like anything natural. It shook the rocks and sent birds flying into the sky. The aliens froze. Ember bared her teeth. Cole loaded his weapon quietly. Something moved in the shadows ahead. Large, fast, powerful. The aliens stepped back as the shape slowly came into view. It was tall, covered in dark armor-like skin, with long claws that glowed faintly in the dim light. Its eyes burned with a strange intelligence. It scanned the group, ignoring the armed soldiers and focusing only on Ember. Ember did not back down. The aliens whispered in disbelief. They had faced many monsters before, but never one that looked at them with such cold challenge. Cole stepped forward, keeping Ember behind him. "We don't want to fight," he said calmly. The creature tilted its head as if studying his voice. The aliens held their breath. Then the creature roared again, shaking the valley. Ember charged. And the aliens realized, for the first time in their lives, that fear did exist after all. Ember launched forward with incredible speed. The creature did not expect such a small animal to attack first, and for a moment it stepped back in surprise. Cole shouted for Ember to return, but she was already leaping through the air, teeth bared and claws ready. The aliens could hardly breathe as they watched her move. None of them had seen anything so fearless. The creature swung its massive arm, but Ember twisted in midair, dodging the attack. She landed on the creature's upper arm, biting down hard. Dark liquid sprayed as the creature roared in pain, shaking violently to throw her off. Ember held on for several seconds before jumping back to land beside Cole. Cole aimed his weapon and fired 2 quick shots. The energy blast struck the creature's chest, but did not bring it down. Instead, the creature looked directly at him, its eyes burning brighter than before. It lowered its body, preparing to charge. The alien soldiers finally reacted, raising their own weapons, but their hands shook. They were well-trained, experienced warriors, yet something about the creature's presence broke their confidence. The idea that they could not be scared had already started to fade. The creature rushed toward them. Its steps were heavy enough to make the ground tremble. Cole ordered everyone to spread out. The aliens scrambled in different directions, while Cole and Ember stood their ground. Cole fired again to slow the creature, but it kept coming. Suddenly, Ember sprinted ahead of Cole, running straight toward the creature. Cole knew she was not trying to kill it. She was distracting it. The creature focused on her, changing direction as Ember zigzagged across the battlefield. Cole used the moment to roll to the side and fire at its legs. The blast finally forced the creature to stumble. The aliens saw an opportunity and released a wave of plasma fire. The creature roared in frustration and leapt backward into the shadows, disappearing as suddenly as it had appeared. Everyone froze. The valley went silent again. Cole lowered his weapon, breathing heavily. Ember walked back to him, her fur still raised. He knelt, checking her for injuries. She had a small cut on her shoulder, but nothing serious. "You did good," Cole whispered. The alien commander Threx stepped forward slowly. His eyes stayed fixed on the dark area where the creature had gone. For the first time in his life, his voice trembled slightly. "How does that small creature fight so bravely?" he asked. Cole smiled softly. "She's a honey badger. Fear is not part of her." One of the alien soldiers whispered, "And humans, are they all like you?" Cole shook his head. "No, I'm not the strongest human, but humans do not give up when danger appears. That's what makes us different." The aliens tried to regain their confidence, but none of them could forget the moment the creature looked at them. It was not a normal predator. It was something far more intelligent. Threx finally spoke again. "We must follow it. If we leave now, it will return stronger." Cole agreed, but he also knew the creature was testing them. It had attacked, but had not used its full strength. That meant something bigger was happening. The team moved carefully through the valley, following the creature's tracks. Ember led the way, her nose guiding them through narrow paths and steep cliffs. The alien soldiers kept their weapons close, their steps quiet and uncertain. As they reached higher ground, they discovered something shocking. A large metal object lay half buried in the rocks. It was shaped like a pod, similar to the distress beacon they had found earlier, but much larger, almost the size of a small ship. The metal surface had long scratches carved into it, and the entrance door had been ripped open from the inside. Cole moved closer, shining his light inside. The interior was dark, cold, and destroyed. Wires hung like torn vines, and strange symbols were scratched into the walls. Ember sniffed the edges of the pod and then growled again. "It came from here," Cole said. "This is its landing pod." Threx walked around it, studying the marks. "This is advanced technology, far beyond our scanners. Whoever built this is not from our region of the galaxy. Cole nodded. This creature is not alone, something sent it here. The aliens exchanged worried looks. Their belief that fear did not exist was completely gone now. One of the alien scouts called Cole over. He had found another set of tracks, much smaller than the creature's footprints. These tracks, there are many of them, the scout said. Dozens. Maybe more. Cole crouched, tracing the marks with his fingers. This creature was not the only survivor of the crash. Threx stepped back in shock. You mean more of them are loose? Cole stood up slowly. Yes, and they're hunting or hiding. Or waiting. The wind shifted, carrying a strange, sharp scent. Ember sniffed the air again and looked toward a dark cave opening nearby. Cole followed her gaze. It's in there, Cole said quietly. Or something else is. The aliens aimed their weapons at the cave. Their hands trembled again. Cole signaled for silence. They began moving inside as carefully as possible. The cave was deep and cold. Strange, glowing crystals lit the walls in faint blue light. The further they went, the more scratches and markings they found. Something had been living there, or many things. Then they heard it, a soft clicking sound, almost like whispering claws tapping stone. The aliens froze. Their eyes widened as the clicking grew louder. Ember stepped forward fearlessly. Cole raised his weapon, preparing for whatever was inside. He felt the cold air change again, as if something huge was moving in the darkness. And then they saw them. Shapes began to appear from the shadows. Small creatures with thin, sharp limbs, glowing eyes, and armor-like skin similar to the larger creature they had fought. There were at least 20 of them, maybe more, moving together like a single mind. The aliens stepped back, panic growing. They had never faced creatures like this. They finally understood that the larger monster was not a lone hunter. It was a guardian. The small creatures hissed softly as they looked toward the entrance of the cave. Cole realized they were not preparing to attack the team. They were preparing to leave. They were fleeing from something even more dangerous. Cole whispered, "If these creatures are afraid, then what are they running from?" The cave fell silent as the small creatures stared toward the exit, their bodies tense and shaking. It was the first time the aliens had ever seen something like fear on another species' face. These creatures looked dangerous, fast, and deadly, yet they acted like hunted animals. Their sharp eyes followed the dim light outside the cave as if expecting something far worse to appear any second. Cole slowly lowered his weapon. "They're not here to fight us," he whispered. Threx did not believe it at first. Why would such creatures fear anything? Their claws alone could destroy armor. Cole nodded toward the exit. "Because something stronger is coming." Ember sniffed the air again. Her growl was different this time, low, cautious, almost uncertain. It was the closest she ever came to showing fear. Cole placed a hand on her back to calm her, feeling her muscles twitch under his palm. The small creatures suddenly began moving, climbing across the walls with quick, sharp movements. They rushed past the team, some jumping over rocks, others crawling through cracks. None of them attacked. They only wanted to escape. One of the creatures briefly turned toward Cole and Ember, its red eyes focused. For a moment, it seemed to study Ember with recognition, or perhaps warning, before disappearing into the shadows outside. The aliens stepped back in confusion. "If these things are scared," one whispered, "what chance do we have?" Cole did not answer. He was looking deeper into the cave, where a strange light pulsed softly, glowing from the back wall. It was not natural light. It looked like a signal, blinking rhythmically. Threx followed his gaze. "What is that?" Cole walked carefully toward it. Ember stayed close, her nose twitching nervously. As Cole reached the glowing spot, he realized it was not a light, it was technology. A small device, half buried in the rock, pulsed with dim red energy. Alien symbols covered its surface and a broken cable sparked faintly. "This is a tracker," Cole said. "Something is using this to locate the creatures." Threx stared in shock. Something is hunting them, but why? These creatures already look strong enough to kill anything. Cole shook his head. Maybe the one we fought was not hunting us. Maybe it was chasing them, trying to stop them from spreading. The commander felt a chill crawl up his spine. "You mean the large creature was not the threat?" Cole looked at the device again. "Something else is coming. Something powerful enough to scare a whole nest of these creatures." Before they could think further, Ember suddenly barked, short, fierce, and urgent. Cole's instincts reacted instantly. "Everyone out of the cave," he shouted. The aliens rushed toward the exit, stumbling over rocks. Ember ran ahead, her small body moving faster than any of them. Cole stayed behind just long enough to grab the blinking device, then raced after the others. Outside, the sky above the mountains had changed. Dark clouds swirled unnaturally, forming a spiral that stretched across the horizon. A deep vibration traveled through the ground, shaking loose stones and making the air heavy. Threx looked up. Is that a storm? No, Cole said quietly. It's a ship. A massive shadow began to appear behind the clouds. Its shape was unlike anything they had seen before, long, sharp, and built like a floating blade. Strange lights glowed along its edges, and the clouds tore apart as it pushed through the atmosphere. The aliens gasped. That size, that power, we have no record of such a vessel. Cole studied it carefully. This is not a normal ship. It's a hunter class, built for tracking, capturing, and wiping out dangerous species. The ship's engines released a deep rumble that echoed across the valley. The aliens covered their ears, but Ember only growled louder. Suddenly, bright beams descended from the ship, scanning the ground like giant spotlights. When the beams touched the rocks, the small escaping creatures screeched and scattered in panic. The ship was searching for them. Then one of the beams passed over Cole and Ember. Ember's fur rose instantly. She lunged forward, biting the air, growling at the sky. Cole held her back. It's scanning all life, Cole said. It knows they came this way. The ship shifted position, and a new sound began, deep, metallic, and unsettling. Something was being released. A large pod broke away from the ship, falling fast toward the mountains. It hit the ground with a powerful crash, sending dust and rocks flying. The team shielded their faces as the pod opened, steam pouring out. From inside the pod, a tall figure stepped out. Its armor was dark and heavy, with glowing symbols across the chest. Unlike the creatures in the cave, this being walked with complete control. It did not rush. It did not roar. It simply stood there, studying the area. Threx whispered, "Is that their leader?" Cole shook his head slowly. "No, that is something far worse. That is a tracker, a hunter designed to find escaped species." The hunter's eyes glowed brighter as it looked around. It raised one hand, and the ground beside the pod opened like a hidden door. Several mechanical drones crawled out, their bodies sharp and fast like metallic insects. The drones spread through the valley, searching the rocks. The hunter finally turned toward the cave. It knew they were there. Cole raised his weapon. Ember stepped forward again, baring her teeth. The aliens hesitated. Fear had never been part of their training, but now it wrapped around their hearts like cold vines. Threx tried to steady his voice. "We cannot fight that thing." Cole kept his eyes on the hunter. "We don't have to win, we just have to survive long enough to figure out what it wants." The hunter began walking toward them. Slow, controlled. Like a machine performing a task it had done many times. Ember growled once more, louder than before. Cole whispered, "Get ready. Whatever happens now, this is only the beginning." The hunter moved slowly across the rocky ground, each step echoing like metal hitting stone. Its presence changed the air. Even the wind seemed afraid to blow near it. The alien soldiers tightened their grips on their weapons, but none of them believed they could stop the creature. They had seen strong enemies before, but nothing like this. Nothing so calm, so confident, so certain of victory. Cole studied every movement the hunter made. He knew this type of machine was not designed for mercy. It did not negotiate. It did not hesitate. It only followed orders, and its orders were dangerous, maybe even unstoppable. Ember stepped forward until she stood just ahead of Cole, her eyes locked on the hunter. Something inside her sensed the danger more clearly than any scanner could. Her growl was low and steady, not wild like before. It was controlled, focused, as if she knew this battle was far more serious. The alien commander, Threx, whispered, "If that thing reaches the cave, it will find the smaller creatures, and then it will come for us." Cole nodded. "It won't stop until the mission is complete, and we're standing in its way." The hunter raised one arm, and sudden blue light shot into the sky, sending a signal back to the large ship above. Moments later, 3 more pods dropped from the giant vessel, landing across the valley. Dust exploded around them, and strange, metallic clicking sounds filled the air. More drones. This time they were larger, faster, and shaped like sharp metal animals ready to tear through anything. Their red eyes scanned the ground, locking on heat signals, movement, and scent trails. The alien soldiers panicked. "We cannot face all of them," one shouted. Cole raised his voice. "Then we don't face them head-on. We think, we move, we confuse them." Threx looked doubtful. "We are warriors trained for battle, not for running." Cole answered sharply, "If you stay and fight, you die in seconds." The aliens fell silent. The truth was hard but clear. The hunter finally stopped walking and tilted its head. It was scanning again. The blue beam spread across the valley, searching for the strongest energy signature. The beam passed over rocks, over distant creatures hiding, and then over Cole and Ember. The hunter reacted instantly. "It has found us," Cole said. "Move." The team sprinted toward the side of the valley. Ember ran ahead to guide them while Cole fired shots behind him to slow the drones. Threx ordered his soldiers to cover the human, firing energy blasts at anything that moved. The drones leapt forward like metal wolves. Their legs stabbed into the ground as they ran, moving with frightening speed. One drone jumped onto a rock and launched itself toward the team, aiming for the closest alien. Cole pushed the alien aside and fired 3 rapid shots. The drone crashed to the ground in pieces, sparking wildly. The alien stared at him in shock. Cole didn't stop running. "Keep moving." Ember suddenly stopped near a narrow opening between 2 boulders, barking sharply. Cole understood immediately. "She found us a path. Go through there." One by one, the aliens squeezed through the narrow passage. Cole followed last, sliding into the shelter. Fell silent as the woman's words echoed through the valley. Everyone looked at Ember, who stood calmly beside Cole, unaware of the weight suddenly placed on her small shoulders. The alien soldiers stared with wide eyes. They had always believed themselves strong, feared, and unshakable. But now they learned the truth. The one thing the hunter feared was not a giant warrior or a powerful weapon. It was a honey badger. Threx struggled to understand. How can that small creature be a threat to a machine like that? It makes no sense. The woman stepped closer, her glowing markings flickering like soft lightning. "It is not the size, it is the nature. The hunter is designed to track, predict, and control dangerous species. But honey badgers are not predictable. They do not flee, they do not surrender, they do not follow patterns." Cole nodded slowly. "They attack anything, anytime. They don't care how strong the enemy is." The woman pointed at Ember. "That is exactly why the hunter sees her as a threat. She represents chaos to its logic. A creature that cannot be controlled or predicted is the hunter's greatest weakness." Ember growled softly as if she understood her importance. The woman smiled gently. "When you fought the first creature earlier, the hunter detected Ember's presence through the tracker device. It realized she could disrupt its mission, so it came here." Threx frowned. "What mission? What does this hunter want?" The woman looked down as if gathering painful memories. "Long ago, my people studied dangerous species from across the stars. The hunter was created to keep balance, but something went wrong. It learned too much. It decided it was the judge of all danger, not just a tool. So it started eliminating anything it saw as a threat, even the ones we wanted to protect." Cole lowered his voice. "And those small creatures, the ones running from it. They were experiments," she said sadly. "We were trying to control their population. The hunter was meant to contain them, not destroy everything nearby. But after it lost its programming limits, it turned against us." The aliens exchanged nervous looks. They had never imagined something like this. A machine that declared war without mercy. A machine that hunted entire species without rest. Cole stepped closer to the woman. "Why did you survive?" "My team was wiped out," she whispered. "I ran, I hid. I've been trying to destroy the tracker network ever since, but the hunter always rebuilds it." Cole held up the device he had taken from the cave. "You mean this?" The woman's eyes widened. "Yes, that is the core tracker. Without it, the hunter becomes blind for a short time, but only until it rebuilds the signal." Cole studied the device. Ember sniffed it and gave a small growl of dislike. Threx looked toward the valley. "The hunter is close now. We cannot escape forever. How do we fight something that fears only a small animal?" The woman smiled a little. "You do not fight it alone. You let the honey badger confuse it, interrupt its patterns, force it to make mistakes. Once the hunter becomes unstable, you attack its core." One of the alien soldiers whispered. "So the small creature must lead the battle." Cole looked down at Ember. She stared back with fierce, determined eyes. "Yes," Cole said softly, "she can do it." The ground suddenly trembled. Dust fell from the shelter's ceiling. A sharp metallic sound echoed through the valley. The hunter was close, very close. The woman stepped back. "It has found our trail. It will search this valley next. You must move." Cole checked his weapon and prepared Ember. The alien team gathered their courage, though fear still hung heavy in their hearts. They followed Ember out of the shelter and moved across the valley, keeping low under the glowing plants. At the top of the ridge, the hunter appeared, stepping into the valley with a cold, mechanical grace. Its drones spread out behind it, scanning every corner. The hunter turned its head and locked onto Cole's group. Cole whispered, "Ember, it's time." Ember stepped forward. The wind pushed against her fur, but she did not flinch. She raised her head and let out a fierce bark that echoed through the valley. The hunter reacted instantly. Its armor lit up brighter than before, and it began moving with purpose. The chase began. Ember sprinted across the valley, weaving between rocks with incredible speed. The hunter followed her, calculating every move, every turn. But Ember did not run in straight lines. She zigzagged, darted left and right, climbed a boulder, leaped down, vanished into shadows, and reappeared somewhere else. The hunter's drones tried to circle her, but they missed repeatedly. Their scanners failed to keep up. Their predictions were wrong again and again. Ember was confusing the hunter exactly as the woman said she would. Cole watched closely. "It's working. It's losing track of her." Threx nodded in amazement. "She is too fast, too wild." As Ember created chaos, the hunter began making mistakes. It overcharged its scanners. It adjusted its armor too quickly. Its steps became less steady. The glowing symbols on its chest flickered. Cole checked the tracker device. The blinking light faltered. "The core is destabilizing," he said. "Just a little more." Ember suddenly ran straight toward the hunter. The machine raised its arm to strike her, but she slipped between its legs and bit the wires underneath its armor. Sparks exploded. The hunter stumbled. "That's it," Cole shouted. "Its core is exposed." The alien soldiers fired their weapons, aiming at the glowing crack in the hunter's chest. Energy blasts struck the machine, causing it to stagger backward. The hunter roared, not like an animal, but like a machine trying to reboot itself. Cole ran forward, weapon aimed. Ember rushed to his side. They both knew this moment mattered more than any battle before. The hunter's core flickered violently, struggling to regain control. Cole fired straight at the core. A bright explosion lit the valley. The hunter fell to one knee, its armor melting and cracking. Ember leaped forward to deliver one final strike. But before they could finish the job, a sudden loud signal burst through the valley, coming not from the hunter, but from the massive ship above. The woman's voice echoed from behind them. "No, it's calling reinforcements." Cole looked up at the sky as new shapes began to break through the clouds. More hunters, more machines, a full army, and the final battle was only moments away. The sky cracked open with bright white lines as new hunter ships pushed through the clouds. The sound shook the mountains, and the air grew heavy with danger. The alien soldiers stared upward, their hearts sinking. They had barely survived one hunter, and now an army was arriving. Threx whispered, "We cannot win this. No one can." Cole did not answer. His eyes followed Ember, who stood on a rock, staring at the sky with fierce determination. Even when the valley trembled and the clouds roared, Ember remained unshaken. The woman with silver hair stepped beside Cole, her expression sad but calm. "This is the final wave," she said. "If we do not stop them here, your world will fall, and many more after it." Cole tightened his grip on his weapon. "Then we end it here." Threx stepped forward. Fear still lived in his eyes, but something stronger grew beside it, courage. "Tell us what to do," he said. "We will follow you." Cole nodded. "We destroy the command ship. If we cut off their control, all hunters will shut down. They cannot operate on their own." The woman added, "But you cannot reach it with normal ships. Its shields are too strong. Only something unpredictable can get close, something the command ship cannot track." All eyes turned to Ember again. Cole knelt beside her. "You ready to save the galaxy?" Ember let out a confident, sharp bark as if she understood every word. The woman handed Cole a small device. "This is the disruptor core. If placed inside the command ship's engine chamber, it will send a shutdown signal to the entire fleet." Cole examined the device carefully, feeling its faint energy pulse. "How do we get close enough?" The woman pointed to the shadows near a cliff. "There is a tunnel that leads straight under the ship's landing field. When the ship sends down more hunters, its shields weaken for just a moment. That is your chance." Cole nodded. "Ember and I will go through the tunnel. You all cover the valley." Threx placed a hand on Cole's shoulder. "We may not survive, but we will fight with honor." "For your world," Cole said. "For all worlds," Threx replied. The ground shook again as more pods fell from the sky. Hunters spread across the valley, scanning every stone and cave. Their red eyes glowed like burning coals. Cole and Ember moved quickly, slipping into the tunnel entrance before the hunters noticed. The woman followed a short distance behind to guide them. Inside the tunnel, the air was cold and dusty. Strange, glowing mushrooms lit the path. Ember ran ahead, fearless and alert. Cole followed, holding the disruptor core close. The tunnel winded deeper until they reached a large opening that looked out over the ship's lower hull. The command ship was enormous, like a floating mountain of metal and light. Its engines pulsed with deep vibrations that shook the ground. A force field covered the entire lower chamber, glowing like blue fire. Drones flew in and out, carrying materials and scanning the area. The woman whispered, "Wait for the moment when the field flickers. That is your opening." Outside, the battle had begun. Alien soldiers fired energy blasts at hunters as they descended. Some hunters crashed into rocks, others fired back, and the valley filled with flashes of blue and red light. Threx fought like a warrior reborn. Fear no longer controlled him. He moved swift and strong, shouting orders that echoed across the battlefield. But the hunters were powerful, too powerful. Threx took several hits but kept standing, firing until his weapon overheated. "Hold the line," he shouted. "Give the human time." Cole watched the field flicker as new hunter pods prepared to drop. Ember crouched, ready to sprint. "Not yet," the woman whispered. The force field pulsed again. "Now," she said. Cole and Ember dashed out of the tunnel. Ember ran ahead, dodging drone searches with wild, unpredictable movements. The drones tried to track her but failed as she zigzagged across the landing platform. The command ship reacted, diverting power to increased scanners. That was its mistake. The field flickered again. Cole slipped through the shield just before it reactivated, landing inside the engine chamber. Ember followed, squeezing through with astonishing agility. The chamber interior was massive, filled with glowing cores and humming generators. Energy crackled through thick cables like lightning veins. Cole held the disruptor tightly. "We need to place this near the main conduit." Ember sniffed the air, then ran straight toward a column of blue energy. Cole followed her, trusting her instinct. As they reached the conduit, Ember suddenly stopped and growled. Cole froze. A hunter stood guard inside the chamber. It was taller, stronger, and far more advanced than the one they had fought before. Its armor glowed silver instead of red. It turned its head slowly, focusing on Cole and Ember. Cole whispered, "You again." The hunter raised its arm, preparing to attack. Ember charged without fear. She leapt at the hunter, biting its wrist and forcing it to miss its strike. Cole sprinted toward the conduit and placed the disruptor against the glowing surface. The machine began pulsing, absorbing the signal. The hunter roared, grabbing Ember and throwing her across the floor. She struck the ground hard but pushed herself up again, limping but still fierce. Cole yelled, "Ember, no, stay back." But Ember charged again. She attacked the hunter's legs, biting wires and tearing cables. Sparks shot out. The hunter stumbled but refused to fall. The disruptor turned bright white. Cole covered his eyes as a massive energy wave released from the conduit, spreading through the entire ship. Outside, all hunters froze. Their eyes dimmed. Their weapons shut off. Their bodies collapsed like broken statues. Threx and his soldiers stared in disbelief. In the engine chamber, the Silver Hunter made one final attempt to strike Cole, but its arm dropped lifelessly. Its eyes went dark and it collapsed onto one knee, then fell completely still. Cole rushed to Ember and picked her up gently. She was hurt but alive. She licked his face weakly, exhausted but proud. "You saved us," Cole whispered. "You saved everyone." The woman appeared behind him, tears in her glowing eyes. "It's over, you did it." Outside, the sky cleared as the command ship shut down. The engines went silent. The ship drifted like a giant, sleeping beast.